boys and girls, Miss Gemma here, how are you? In today's lesson we're going to talk about area, the area of a triangle and a rectangle. Let's go find out what area is. Now, what is area? Area is the amount of space a 2D shape takes up or covers. To find the area of a shape, we need to follow a formula. So, what's the formula? In a moment, a rectangle will appear on the screen. As you notice, a rectangle has two long sides and two shorter sides. The top one and the bottom one we can call the base or the length. The two shorter sides we'll call the height or the width. Okay? So we need to plug these lengths into a formula. So the formula for a rectangle is A, which is area, equals B for base times H for height. Okay, so we need to just plug the numbers in. So our rectangle is 4 centimetres high and 8 centimetres long. So plugging the numbers into the formula. So A, which is area, equals B, which is the base, so the length, is 8 centimetres times 4 centimetres, which is the height or the width. So 8 times 4 is 32 centimetres squared. So we need to make sure we put the little 2 to signify that we're dealing with area. Now let's have a look at a triangle, boys and girls. So the formula for a triangle is area, so A equals half B, which is for base, times height, which is H. Okay, so we've got a triangle on the screen now. So our height, which is how high the triangle is, we'll say is 5 centimetres. And the base, which is the bottom of the triangle, is 6 centimetres. So let's plug those numbers into our formula. Okay, so our formula is area, or A, equals half base times height. Okay, so A, or area, equals half our base, which in this case is 6 centimetres, times 5 centimetres. So the calculation, area equals, so half of 6 is 3, so 3 centimetres times 5 centimetres equals 15 centimetres squared. Don't forget your 2 to say that we're dealing with area. Let me show you with a visual. So on the table, boys and girls, I have 2 rectangles. And I'm going to cut them to show you the relationship between a rectangle and a triangle, okay? So just hold on a second while I cut one piece, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about, okay? Have a look at that's not a rectangle, boys and girls. So that's our rectangle as one, okay? So it's a full rectangle. So now, if I show you where I've cut it, I've got my triangle, and then if I place the ones I cut out on top, I have 2 triangles. So a triangle, the half of base times height shows with 2 triangles. So that's one triangle. Let me show you another triangle. Put this over here. Okay, so this one, so this is my rectangle again. So this time I'm going to cut it a different way to show you the same idea. Okay, so here's my rectangle. My rectangle as one. Now if I flip this, I've got two triangles. So the half the rectangle is a triangle. Okay, let's go do some examples. So let's have a look at our first example, boys and girls. So in this example, we have a triangle with a height of 10 and the base of 16. So let's write our formula first. So area, which is represented with an A, equals half base, which in this case will be the 16, times the height. The height in this case will be the 10. So let's plug our numbers into our formula. So we've got area equals half the base, which is 16, times our height, which is 10. Okay, so let's do some calculations now. So area equals half of 16. So half of 16 is 8. So we'll write 8 times our 10, because that doesn't change. So area for this triangle equals 8 times 10, which is 80. So 80, and our system is centimetres and squared. So the little 2 squared represents area. Let's do another one. In our next example, boys and girls, we have a slightly different triangle, but the formula still stays the same. Okay, so let's write our formula first. So area equals half base, so base in this instance is 10, times our height, which is 14. Okay, so let's plug those numbers in. So area equals half of 10, which is our base, times our height, which is 14. So let's do some calculations now. So area equals half of 10. Half of 10 is 5, times our 14, because that doesn't change. Okay, now boys and girls, I can't work this out in my head, so let's try and work it out. Okay, so I'll just use my working paper over here. So 14 times 5. Okay, so 4 times 5 is 20. So put the 0 down, carry the 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 more is 70. Okay, so the area for this triangle equals 70 centimetres squared. Are you ready for another one? So our next example is, this looks a bit weird, doesn't it, boys and girls? Very tall triangle. Okay, so let's have our formula first. So area equals half base times height. Okay, so let's plug those numbers into our formula. So area equals half, so our base in this case is 12. So write the 12 times our height, which is 21. So it's very tall. Okay, all right, let's do some calculations. So half of 12 is 6. So 6 times 21, which is our height. Again, boys and girls, I can't do that one in my head, so let's go to our scrap paper. So 21 times 6. Okay, so 6 times 1 is 6. And then 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, so the area of this triangle is 126 metres squared. Remember, the squared tells us we're dealing with area. Let's try a harder one, boys and girls. So our next example, boys and girls, he looks like he's lying down the job, boys and girls. All right, let's do our formula first. So area equals, again, half base times height. So let's put our numbers into our formula. So area equals half our base. So our base in this one is 18. 18 times our height, which is 15. So let's do some calculations now. Area equals half of 18. Half of 18 is 9. 9 times 15. so our height doesn't change. Oh, these numbers are too big, boys and girls. All right, let's go to our scrap paper. 15 times 9. So 9 fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So write our 5 and carry the 4. So 9 times 1 is 9, plus 4 more, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so the area of this triangle, which is lying down the job, boys and girls, equals 135 metres squared. I think we need to do one more just to be sure. Let's go. Our last example, boys and girls, again a triangle lying down the job. Goodness gracious me. Okay, so let's have our formula first. So area equals half base times height. So let's put our numbers into our formula. Area equals half our base, which is 14, times our height, which is 13. So let's do some calculations. Area equals half of 14. Half of 14 is 7. So 7 times 13, which doesn't change. I chose some very tricky questions here, didn't I, boys and girls? All right, let's go to our scrap paper. 13 times 7. So 7 times 3 is 21. So write the 1 down and carry the 2. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 2 more is 9. So the area of this triangle equals 91 centimetres squared. Don't forget your squared. So let's review what we've done in this lesson, boys and girls. What's area? Area is the amount of space a 2D shape takes up or covers. To find the area of a shape, we need to follow a formula. So, what are the formulas? So for a rectangle, the formula is area, which is represented by A, equals B, which is for base, times H or height. For a triangle, the area is A, or area, equals half the base, or B, times height, or H. Boys and girls, there is a worksheet available with lots of examples to help you practice using the formulas to work out the area of a shape. You did an awesome job, boys and girls. Some of those questions were a bit hard, weren't they? Now that you know some more about area and using formulas, your next lesson could be to learn about, maybe informative texts. I'll see you in our next lesson.